paper magic will survive like the heat death of the universe, and will...
Oh, it's a smuggler's copter. Would you like to crew this? And then it crashes because they don't understand arithmetic.
All your cards belong to me.
2 minutes into macing him in the eyeballs, I switched to pepper spray. He's like, it's all right, refreshing. And went back to the mace.
Magic is dying. I'm done. Selling everything.
I might be a hoarder. And yes,
I don't have the crayons or glue to explain this to you right now.
What, are you gonna die twice?
Oil will be worthless before magic cards will.
Well, okay, Dr. Man.
That's Mr. Dr. Professor Jason.
All right, so my wife and I had one of our first arguments in like 16 years recently. Yeah.
Okay.
What
It's
is
a hot shot to the podcast. Go on.
What is the difference between a jacket and a hoodie?
A hoodie is like a heavier material than a jacket.
No, it's
and
in
it
the
pulls
name.
over your head with a hood on it.
It has a hood. Hoodie is like, it's got a hood. A jacket is like, you pull it over your shoulders. And like,
Right.
Maybe you got a zip up, maybe it doesn't.
They go on
can
differently,
Can a
though.
jacket have a hood? If a jacket has a hood, is it automatically a hoodie?
No, because they pull on over your head versus putting on over.
Can a hoodie have a zipper?
Yeah, hoodies
Where would
can
the
have
zipper?
zippers.
Where would the zipper be?
On a hoodie? Just
So-
like this I would say is a hoodie for our youtube.com/BA. Like it's a...
Oh yes, that's still a hoodie. It's just about.
It is. So it's also a jacket, right? There are
That's a
elements
jacket.
of both.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a
Thank you.
jacket.
Thank
There are
you.
elements of
I'm
both.
right and she's
This
wrong,
whole
and that's how the
convers-
world is.
This whole conversation is founded on a false notion that these must be different things, when in reality...
No, I don't think they need to be. I think it can be a square rectangle situation.
What if you called
but
it
it's
a Judy and you just created a new?
Corbin's I'm gonna kick Corbin from the call right now.
Corbin, gotta be careful. Can't be calling things that. I don't know. Someone's got to scold the white man.
Welcome into the show, everybody.
And then I immediately get the Discord notification from her because she can hear me saying this in the other room, and no, I'm not going to check that Discord notification. She can listen to this on Friday as she always does and just seethe. That's fine.
Sure, why not? I don't even know who was on what side of that, but I do know that hoodies and jackets are distinct words.
Emily's position in this is that a hoodie cannot have a zipper. Like, if it has a zipper, it is automatically not a hoodie.
I
And-
kind of agree.
Emily's position is that a hoodie cannot have a zipper at all.
Well,
And-
all
and-
right. Let us know in the comments at youtube.com.
Okay.
/Brainstorm Brewery, where I found out somebody went last week because I flashed up a card to the camera, said this used to be $1,000 and now it's shit. And I saw a YouTube comment that was, I only came here because Corbin didn't tell us what that card is. And I don't know if your goal is to get me to show cards to the camera or not show cards to the camera in that case. But I do know that they went to youtube.com/Brainstorm Brewery because I did not tell them that I was holding up a foil Richard Garfield PhD. From Unglued or whatever.
Now you spoiled it.
Yeah, but that's
Anybody
last week.
Who is listening
That's last
to the
week.
episodes in serial, anybody who is
Oh god.
grinding through the backlog, no
And they're on
longer
year
has to-
13.
Yeah.
Hey, listeners, this card used to be $1,000, and now it's... Can you guys believe that?
That's an incredible bit. Oh man. Speaking of incredible bits, the World Championship. Was that a good
No.
Did you like that? Well,
No,
you just
so,
don't get it, DJ. You would say that.
Here's
You
the
don't get
thing. Here's the thing about the World Championships is... Can I start this one over? Can I redo this one? Can I take it back?
Oh.
So the thing about the World Championships is
I thought that
that
was the bit.
Seth Manfield did not cheat. He played exactly within the rules of Magic the Gathering, and it's really
Ooh.
unfortunate those are the rules of Magic the Gathering.
Oh, we're going into it hot. All right, so for anyone who doesn't know, let me preface this a little bit because this is discourse. And you know what? I'm just going to preface this with this up front, and it's really nice to have 60-card discourse instead of commander discourse. Okay?
Yeah.
Nature is healing. But here's what I'll say. is that at the World Championship, in the finals, no less, Seth Manfield made a play that sat on the stack for a while, I believe.
What is a while for the people who may
5
have
to
not
10
watched
seconds, maybe. The opponent said, okay, maybe Seth hadn't fully chosen a target. It's not entirely clear. He just kind of put the card down on the table at first. Anyway, he realizes that such a play could lose him the game, and he goes, oh, can I take that back to the judge? And this is the most awkward or funny, depending on how you look at it, part of the whole thing, is that it gets caught by the table mic. And the finals, unlike the other matches, are played live. So there is no cutting that out or removing the judge call for time purposes, etc. It just got caught live. Everyone heard it. And the people on the broadcast are like, nah, buddy, you can't take that back. Of course, what are you doing? And then the judge is like, actually, like, you can take that back. And of course, as you might expect in the Pro Tour World Championship finals, the judge was correct, obviously. Like, the judge was correct. No new information had been gained. Like, nothing on the board had changed. There were no really relevant responses that would have changed the line of the decision making, the line of play.
Because technically he gave his opponent information, right? Technically he revealed a card in his hand to his own detriment. Like, is that
Yeah, it's really tough because, like, again, one of the things about playing competitive games and being really sweaty about it and being the kind of person who can make it to the World Championships is you understand all of the parameters of the rules and exactly how far you can take them. And unfortunately, the Magic competitive rules system, though the way that the enforcement works, the way that judge calls are handled, incentivizes two things primarily. Sloppy play and asking for takebacks. And I don't think Seth Manfield did anything wrong. He played within the rules of the game. I think this should be a really good opportunity for us to look at the rules of the game and say, why are we allowing this? Why are players incentivized to be sloppy and only ask for takebacks when it's negative for them? I think I don't believe that Seth Manfield cheated, but I believe the system that he exists in would have made it very easy for someone to do that when it's not.
I just want to add, just for context for everyone, like, Seth didn't know what the answer was going to be when he asked. He doesn't have the rule book memorized and plan out in advance. Oh, I'm going to try to extract his information here, and then I'm going to work the rule book to my advantage. He just realized that that's not what he actually wanted to do and asked the judge if it was possible to take it back, and the judge applied the rules fairly. So it just is what it is for that, just in terms of that.
Yeah. In that specific situation, I would largely agree with you, Corbin, but I think that there are people who do understand the policy and who know that they can use that to their advantage. And I think Seth's case is a pretty obvious example of not that. But the way that policy works for infractions and for, no new information being gained is such a far cry from where it was back when I was playing a lot of competitive Magic.
I agree.
And a really great comparison point I like to use these days is Pokemon, where if you think about drawing an extra card, the judge puts 2 bullets in your head.
Thought crime.
This big revelation came for me when we went back to paper events in like 2022 or whatever. I saw what I just thought were some of the most unhinged rewinds I've ever seen in my life in Magic games. And it's all for this judge philosophy, which I am not saying is wrong. In fact, I probably agree with it. The rules are designed and, more importantly, interpreted and enforced in such a way as to generally try to let players do what they were trying to do and let the game progress as it would have if players had done what they were trying to do, as opposed to necessarily the thing that, like, because you can't get in chess, there's a touch rule, right? In Magic, you can't really have that necessarily. Like, that people have talked about the old examples, like, what if you say play a mountain but actually drop a forest from your hand, right? Just in terms of, like, what is the actual, is it what you say or what you do or what you mean or whatever? And that's how they ended up on this idea of no new information gained as being the dividing line. Because if someone goes, do a thing, and then immediately goes, oh, I don't want to do that, just kidding, everyone gets that, right? But what if 5 seconds have transpired in between there, but nothing's changed? Like, what is that line, right? So that is how they ended up on this definition of the line is not how much time has passed or whether your hand touched the card or whatever. It's whether that there was a change in game state with new information. That's the philosophy underpinning sort of the whole thing for people who don't understand sort of how the judges approach these things. And what it leads to is things that sometimes don't make sense. Like that situation just looks bad to a lot of people. I've seen some wild takebacks in games over the last 5 years because of how the rules are being interpreted, which, to be fair, is probably better than, like, on average, it's probably better for the judges to work this way than how they did 25 years ago, where everything was adversarial and, rules lawyery or cheatery.
Only 90s, 70s, and 80s kids remember Pirate Heart Wolf triggers.
One of the things, so I think this moment at the World Championships should be sort of viewed as if, in traditional law, you have what are referred to as landmark cases where something happened, it set a new precedent, and it caused people to reevaluate the laws. Unironically, I think that many of the best policy changes in Magic have happened because of things that happened on camera at a Pro Tour where the rules got funky, people were unhappy. And I think...
The vehicles.
Yes. The best case scenario from this is that the whole Magic community realizes that Seth didn't cheat. That's like my first thing I want to say, is like, he didn't cheat. I think the rules suck, but I think he didn't cheat. They acknowledge that, and then we get to move on to a world in which we get to reevaluate policy, where we ask, when is it too late to take a play back? Is there a level of play that we were going to require of people in the top 8 of the World Championships that's beyond? Mm-hmm. Like, should professional REL have more stringent rules on that sort of thing?
And it is maybe a little weird gap in the rulebook where professional REL does have way more stringent requirements than any other REL, but not for that particular thing, I guess. But it is worth noting, on that note, right, as well, that at the World Championship, players don't know as much as you think, for lack of a better way of putting it.
Well, the rule book is 8,000 pages long, and
I don't even mean the rule book, though, right? This is a standard, like, I talked to people over the past few weeks. One person skipped their family vacation to Mexico to prep more. One person's partner had an intervention because they were getting 4 hours of sleep for a month straight playing Arena or playing
That's
Magic
cool.
the whole time.
Kids, you should do that.
Sure, whatever. These people are so on top of this. They've devoted nothing but their lives to it for the last 2 months or whatever, not to mention everything it took to get there. We get to round 4 of the World Championship. I'm sitting in the player area watching the stream with them, and somebody plays Shuko, that's the equipment. Shiko, right? Nope, JJ, you can cut this. I want to get the name right. It is Shiko. Okay. I'm sitting in the player area watching the stream along with all of them, and on stream, someone plays the card Shiko, Paragon of the Way. It's a 5-mana Jeskai card. Flying Vigilance when it enters. Exile target non-land card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard. Copy it, then you may cast a copy without paying its mana cost. Well, what people were doing at the World Championship, the handful of people who discovered this interaction in deck, playing Shiko, targeting Gwen Stacy in their graveyard. And then when they make a copy of Gwen Stacy, JJ will put these up on the screen for you here. You can actually, because you're making a copy of it, choose to cast the other side of Gwen Stacy, the Ghost Spider. And now all of a sudden your Shiko is coming attached to a Ghost Spider. And you're going to ask, you can do that? I didn't know that. And the answer is yes, because of the way these cards are worded, you can, in fact, exile that Gwen Stacy and then get the card that you otherwise would not be able to get with the Shiko. And guess how many players sitting around me knew about that rules interaction that was vital to the World Championship metagame? 0 of them knew about that rules interaction, or that's how it worked. Every single player who played against it on camera picked up the cards to read them because they didn't know that it worked that way or even what they did. And the players who played it told me they were keeping account of how many people were picking up the cards to read them. And at the end of day 1, they were at 100%. So the point of that story is, even at the World Championship, people don't know all the rules or the interactions in Standard, much less the arcane rules of when is too late to take a playback. But Cass is right. If it wasn't for this coming up, I think it would have never been noticed because professional REL is way more strict about so many things. And then you get to this part of the rule book and it's sort of still vague. But I will say that there are a lot more what you might term takebacks at the Pro Tour in 2025 than most people think. It is not as, when it comes to that kind of thing, because a lot of players sort of know how the judges typically will do things, like, it's not that, it is not usually that cutthroat. There's also language barriers involved. Like, for the most part, games progress how they're meant to progress, and players follow that. There's not a ton of rules lawyering, so to speak, going on.
So as somebody who is a certified expert gamer, capital ER, can you explain to me why this works the way it is? I mean, I know perfectly well. I'm very good at Magic the Gathering, but can you explain to the audience, for exposition's sake, why you get to play the back half of a card when you play Shiko?
Yeah, so if we get them both up on the screen here, Shiko targets a card with mana value 2 or 3 or less. And Gwen Stacy being a transform card, not a split card where both, if this was a left-right thing, like a room or whatever, I believe they would both be counted as part of the mana cost. Maybe that's not correct, but that's what I think. But because this is a flip thing, that backside doesn't even count. So Gwen Stacy's a perfectly legal target. But Shiko doesn't say you can cast that card. It says that you make a copy of that card and then you can cast it. So at that point, you're just casting the card Gwen Stacy, which in fact has both sides, and you are able to cast a Ghost Spider even though it doesn't quite meet the requirement. It's the same reason that you're able to do so with things like Valky. It used to come up where you could get the backside of Valky, the 7-mana Tybalt, in a couple corner case scenarios. So pretty neat interaction. I don't know how well that deck ended up doing necessarily, but here was the cool part. Obviously, it was built around Gwen Stacy, right?
So I'm finally getting it, is that, like, you can just cast this card as both has one in your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, because I thought it was just, like, play her and then transform her. I didn't realize that you could just, like, play her, transform her, or play the back half of the... Okay.
Yeah, these cards have all the ways of playing them, so it happens to work out. Yeah, it was pretty sweet. All in all, it's a pretty cool deck. It was Casey Miller and Jennifer Holloway Rose, I believe, who came up with the deck. And the nickname for the deck was the Jen Caseys, which I thought was great. Anyway, that's sort of my window from the World Championship. I was extremely deep in Standard. Cass was there too, though. We got to hang out. We got to watch some Magic together. It was fun. What was your weekend like?
I was in attendance at the World Championships as a guest. A couple of my dear friends were playing in the main event. Both of them did miss day 2, but, it's the World Championships, and going 3-4 against the toughest players in the world, pretty understandable. Also, both of them qualified through playing Amulet Titan in Modern.
Yeah.
So, draft and Standard's a little bit different than that. It's not to say they're not good drafters or Standard players, but it's certainly not... They're not on the level that they are with Amulet. I spent most of my weekend eating the free food for players, because the guests were allowed to it too. It was all fine. And I did some side drafts, and I was reminded that I'm really good at drafting. Like, my decks were all decent. But man, I am so much worse at putting cards on the table and doing combat math than people who are qualified for the World Championships. Turns out.
It's not fair, honestly.
I mean, it is. It actually is fair. They've spent more time.
It's a very
and
balanced
effort to get better
system
than
they've
me.
designed.
It would be, I've never done this after a coverage draft or anything. And to be fair, I'm not terrible at these things, but I'm drafting coverage people, which is a higher level, but not the World Championship level, clearly, right? But what I've never been able to bring myself to do is just ask the other player to switch decks with me after we're done drafting and play, because it would be more embarrassing after they crush me to then get crushed in return by my own deck, but with them playing it. That's the one I've never... That's how you just really drive the dagger in,
There was a moment in one of my games in the side draft where, like, I play a copy of Invasion Tactics that I had airbended with my airbending lesson to get like a second overrun basically in the game, and I turn all my creatures sideways, and my opponent sits there and tanks for like 5 seconds and goes like, "So you don't have a copy of Pillar Launcher? I'd be dead." And I like pick up my 2-card hand of basic plains Pillar Launch, and I'm like, "Yeah, for sure." Turns out
you got them. Or
turns
something.
out, no. The answer was I should have played the Pillar Launch last turn to win the game instead of not doing so. So I both tricked my opponent and was stupid.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you all that I got one collector pack at the end of the weekend from this set, and I think it might be the worst collector pack I've ever seen in my life.
Oh yeah.
Are you going to put more cards on the screen that the audience doesn't?
Yeah, I am. I think this was supposed to be the big hit. It's a Sundial of the Infinite. Yeah, but it's worth $2. The other card was a foil Airbender Ascension, which I believe was bad. Have you guys? I haven't opened collector boosters in a number of sets. Are they generally a worthwhile? Like, what is the general vibe on collector boosters from where you all are at with Avatar? I'm at like $4 to $5 or $6 on value on this collector booster, and it made me wonder: are they all this bad? Because I think this is like $40, and there's not $10 here. Like
that is an excellent question, Corbin, and/or listener and/or reader of this podcast. If you're jamming the closed captioning, I guess.
Hey, I did that. I did some of that over the weekend. It's pretty cool. You all should go check that out.
Well, I just went to mtgband.com, which is the lovely sponsor of this podcast, and they have a sealed expected value calculator that is crazy, crazy, crazy good. So I've typed in Avatar: The Last Airbender Collector Booster Box under the sealed tab, and it says that TCG low on this product is $390. Card Kingdom has them for $450. Star City has them for $450. Mana Pool has them for $400. So somewhere in the $4 to $450 range. And TCG low EV, only counting the $1 and up cards and not counting any crazy ultra rare stuff like the $3,000 Aang, is $367. So the EV is reasonably there. It is presumably weighted on the very higher end cards. So Corbin got either average luck or unlucky or low rolled. But this tool is just, it works for anything. It works for pre-constructed decks. It works for booster boxes. It works for anything new, old. It works for basically any Magic the Gathering sealed product you can think of. If I type in Final Fantasy Collector Booster Box, TCG low on a Final Fantasy box, around $1,000. EV, 561. Horrendous. Oof. Bloodbath.
That's pretty bad.
Most of the cards have tanked pretty significantly over the past few months. And so if you have one, you can look at the page on ban and go, oh, Card Kingdom is paying $800 cash. That means they're paying a couple $100 more than that in store credit. I should just sell my box to Card Kingdom, or I should join the ban Discord and sell my box in the buy-sell trade group in the Discord, where they regularly do sell for $1,000 to people who are running whatnot operations or have local game stores and they want to pack it out. Like, you have a lot of networking opportunities on mtgband.com, and if you use promo code BSB50, that is 50% off your first month after you get a free 2-week trial to start it off in the first place.
And you get access to things like the community auction nights, which I was a part of for the first time last week.
Corbin's a late bloomer in basically every aspect.
It was great. It was so much fun. I almost bought a Chinese cradle.
Corbin interrupted me to talk about a thing I've talked about several times as if it's novel and new.
Yeah,
it's not.
Awesome.
It was my first time participating. I just stumbled into it while I was like in a meeting on Discord.
It's great.
The next thing I know, I'm like, heck, this is really fun.
Corbin, anyway, you are one of today's 10,000 every single day, and I love that about you.
Yeah, that's how we learn. And you know how else you learn with these breaking bulks.
Breaking bulk time.
I do like that we had a whole segment that was Corbin being like, I opened the bad booster pack, are they all bad? And then DJ was like, our sponsor can prove your friends wrong.
That was a great segment because I was like, I don't know what to do next. And I looked over and I had this booster pack next to me that I opened last night. So why not? Here we go.
It was a fantastic way to throw into the ad read. I actually loved it.
Yeah, so let's do breaking bulks, and then we'll go breaking bulks, and then we'll talk more about the World Championship and the cards that actually existed.
Sure. I'll fill the awkward silence. I
Go ahead,
have
DJ.
a Streets of New Capenna Red Common.
Goldhound.
No.
Sticky Fingers.
Also
Yeah.
no.
I like that one.
Those sound like card names.
Is it the 3-mana 3/2 or maybe 2/2 that like whenever you play creature ETB ping them maybe or something?
Yes,
It's like
I will accept that as the
Bookie
fill
or
in the blank.
something?
Witty Roastmaster.
Yeah.
I remember that one.
You were right the first time. 3-mana 3/2 with Alliance, which is just whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control. Witty Roastmaster deals 1 damage to each opponent. There are plenty of impact tremor-like things in Magic, and players like generating game objects and tokens and creatures, and you want ways to just kill your opponent without having to attack. This is a very good way to do that. It is the only printing of the card. It tanked recently, which is weird because the card has no reprints. But if you look at the price graph, it was around $1 for the past year or so, and then went down to like 25 cents in October, and has since spiked back up to $1. So I actually don't know what's going on there. The card is on MTG ban. It doesn't have any BioWare support right now for non-foils, but they do regularly sell on TCG Player for around $1, $1.50. And then foils are like $2.50. But yeah, the card, you should probably still pick it out of bulk and just list them for $1.50, and eventually they'll sell, or you wait
Also,
until
cards like that, yeah, they go up on the buy list eventually, right?
Yeah.
Or they get put in 16 commander precons and you cry.
Well,
Sure.
and you just throw them away the next time you see them. You're not really out anything, right? Like,
Right.
Cass, what do you got?
I have a Lost Caverns of Ixalan Black Rare. Corbin might get this one.
I don't know. I always get mixed up on rares. Although I did just draft Lost Caverns again yesterday or today on Arena.
That was fun.
It was actually one of my favorite sets for multiple reasons. The Jurassic Park tie-in, everything else. However, the last collector booster box I bought probably in my life was of this set. And I opened it up, and it wasn't incredible. It wasn't great. It wasn't the end of the world. And I put the cards in a box on just like a dresser that we use for storage in our living room, like our family room where the kids' shit is, right? They're just in a box on a shelf, basically. And then we had a leak, I guess, or something from a pipe.
What is with you and cards getting wet?
And I'm going to be honest.
Corbin likes them.
The water, I think, just dripped down onto the pile of the expense, like of all the hits that I had pulled out. And it ate them all. That, or a child or someone somehow spilled a drink on it. All I know is that it was actually hidden from me.
So your child spilling something is the second choice after Act of God.
They were under a pipe where we did have a leak, like in the corner of the room that we discovered later. So it's possible. I actually kind of forgot about them for a while, and then I went looking for them, and all of a sudden I find curled up water-damaged cards in my closet, and Marianne's like, yeah, they were screwed. I didn't want to tell you about it when I found them. And I was like, fuck! So,
That's tough.
Anyway, I don't know if I know what the black rare is. Is it the Myco Spawn?
I cheated, so I have a guess locked and loaded because I used ban to cheat. I typed in S:SCI R:R C:B ampersand, which brings up every
No one wants to hear about your colon, DJ.
It's about his syntax, Corbin. His syntax is perfectly reasonable. So DJ cheated, which means I win.
I like semicolon.
Yes, you win. Is it
Wait,
Preacher
what's
of the
the
Schism?
answer? Hold up. The answer is
No.
Preacher of the Schism.
It's not Preacher of the Schism.
That one's
I
too
double
obvious,
win.
bro. Wait,
double
it's
win.
deadly. It's deadly cover. No, that's collect evidence.
It's not. Okay, I triple win.
All right, what is it?
It's Bringer of the Last Gift. It's
Because you bring it into
Dude.
play. Yeah.
It is part of the standard Living End deck that the
Yeah.
Japanese team brought to Worlds. Card is a quarter TCG low, has a Card Kingdom buy list of 90 cents, got the big star next to it saying its highest buy list price in the last 3 months.
What's it called? One more time.
Bringer of the Last Gift.
The Last Gift. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that deck is sweet. I've been trying to play
really cool.
I've been trying to play Ben Stark's Golgari Dragons deck on Arena since I got home. Also, not it's kind of fun. I'm gonna be honest. We'll get more.
Seen.
It went like 8-2 at the or whatever 7-2 at
get it.
There were 8 rounds, whatever 6-2. It did well. I can see the theory. Like a lot of the dragons have like the front side's good, and then the back. If you cast it for 5 mana or whatever, you just still get to destroy their artist talent. But you just get snowballed out of games pretty quickly. We'll talk about more of that in a minute. But I will say that gifting is part of my pick or my breaking bulk here. It's a white uncommon from Bloomborough.
Is this the double white, destroy a permanent, gift a fish? Or maybe gift a card? Gift a card.
Close.
That's
You're
good
on the right
enough.
track. Yeah, it's Parting Gust. It is a 2 white instant. It's exile target non-token creature, gift a tapped fish. If the gift wasn't promised, return it's a blink. So you can blink things or exile them if you gift a fish. It's pretty versatile. It has actually spiked out of bulk in the past 3 weeks or so, and is now over $1 market price. So it's I'm not sure if there's something to come of this, but ephemerate effects just continue to be broken in Magic. Splash Portal, Cass's breaking bulk from last week. I've seen just be doing disgusting things over the past week. Boomerang Basics on Storm Chaser's Talent is going to lead to something getting banned.
Just regular Ephemerate is like a $6 card. I don't know if people know that yet.
Yeah.
Just regular old Ephemerate is the new Manamorphose. It's the new Pyretic Ritual. It's whatever. It's your Kitchen Finks. Whatever $8 uncommon you used to play in Modern during the Barack Obama administration. Ephemerate is that now. Like it's just going to be $10 unless they ban it.
Because all the creatures are so broken that all it takes is resetting them once. Plus, when it comes to things like obviously Quantum Riddler. Or any other warp creature, getting them to just immediately stick around is obviously insane. So, like, it's Splash Portal on something like Quantum Riddler just makes you want to quit Magic. But so does Boomerang Basics on Storm Chaser's Talent. So there's a lot of unhinged things going on right now in Standard. The coolest part, though, we get into Standard here, Cass, of Ben's deck, is the Urgent Necropsy. Is that what it's called? Let me
Necropsy. It's an autopsy on necrosis,
Urgent
maybe?
Necropsy. Yeah.
It just makes me think of the Bob Burgers song. That's all it did.
For those who don't know, it's a 4 mana instant. As an additional cost to casting it, it's a 2 green and a black. As an additional cost, collect evidence X, where X is total mana values of the permanents you target. So the permanents you're allowed to target destroy up to 1 artifact, up to 1 creature, up to 1 enchantment, up to 1 planeswalker. So I was playing a game 3 last night against the Is It Lessons deck, the deck that crushed the PT, and they had a Artist Talent in play, and a Monument to Endurance in play, and a Jace Reawakened in play, and I destroyed all 3 of them with my Urgent Necropsy. And then obviously I won the game from that point, but they had their best one, like their best 2, 3, 4, and this card blew it out. And then, so I don't know. It's a mythic. It's not my pick of the week, but it is true bulk. Like it is 20 cents. I don't know that it's going to go anywhere. I think that frankly, we're heading for another Is It dominated metagame and probably some bans because they printed Ancestral Recall and you shouldn't do that.
I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy how impactful Steam Vince has been on Standard. What? Has it been the most dominant deck for like 3 seasons without even having access to the good mana fixing? Is that what you're telling me, Corbin?
That is correct, Cass.
Am I being led to believe that when Steam Vince comes out in Lore and Eclipse, we might actually have Is It decks that don't have auto losses to their mana bases sometimes? That's crazy, dog.
But that's not even... We'll see. They're going to have to ban some more cards by then.
Can I offer an idea as to why I think Is It keeps ending up being the best deck?
Yeah, we've certainly talked in the past, right, about all the 1 mana spells, etc. Go ahead.
Yeah. Blue and red are the colors that get the strongest 1 and 2 mana spells these days. Spells specifically.
Yep.
Yeah.
red gets the best cheap removal. Like, with Cut Down gone from the format, the best removal spell in Standard is Torch the Tower, and then the Lesson one that people are playing too. Like, there are multiple different variants of unsummons, or closer to Chain of Vapors. Boomerang Basics simply being the most recent in a long string of ways to go up on mana for a card. And I just think it's like a function of Standard being large and there being an extra year's worth of 1 and 2 mana blue and red cards that makes any deck that can leverage that efficiency broken.
I spent a lot of time theory crafting this over the weekend about why things are the way they are. And I kind of landed on like Storm Chaser's Talent is part of it, right? That's just very powerful as a card that just does everything, etc. But like Artist Talent's really powerful too, right? All those cards are good. But what I landed on is, you said Cut Down. I said there's no Fatal Push, right? Like,
yeah,
there's you have to play red in order to interact with the best early, in order to not get blown out of the game, to Land of War Elves, which doesn't even necessarily it did well or anything, but like to Land of War Elves or the Otter decks, you need to be able to interact cheaply for 1 mana, and that's why you end up on Torch the Tower, because there is no other options, right? Everything in black costs 2 mana except for I've been playing Ben Stark's deck, and I do think this is a big part of how I ended up on it. Caustic Exhale, where you get to play it for 1 mana if you behold a dragon, is so important, because the only reason that deck can work is you have to be able to interact at 1 mana, and there is no Cut Down, there is no Fatal Push, and therefore you have to be red. And now the other cards are blue. So like you're just a blue-red deck, you know?
Going in, the people I was helping practice were really, really in on the idea that 3 damage was the threshold to be playable in Standard for removal spell, because some of the best threats are Fear of Missing Out, Duelist of the Mind, Tiger Seal, or maybe Lion Seal, I can't remember what it's called, the Avatar 1 mana 3.
Lion Seal, Tiger Dildo.
Lion Seal.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's there's like 2 different, maybe even 3 different effects in Standard right now that are 1 black mana, give a creature -2/-2, and those just do not play ball right now. Like the green-black Dragons deck was something that I was keyed into before Worlds, and the whole thing was that Caustic Exhale is really strong. But we were close to playing multiple copies of Scorching Dragonfire, the 2 mana deal 3.
Mm-hmm. It is, you're right, it was Tiger Seal, by the way.
Look at me go.
No lions, all tigers.
When you're playing these like really big high stakes tournaments with pretty defined metagames, knowing what the number breakpoints are on removal is really important. And like I think the whole format was kind of warped around 3 being this magic number.
Yeah. And also I can see how even the like Binge Dragons deck, for instance, gets to play the dragon that is a sweeper, and it becomes a sweeper that you can find with Overlord or the Baelmerk. So there's actually some pretty cool things going on there. But what I have found is that trying to play all these decks that kind of grind those things out is that everything you do is just less efficient than what the Is It deck does, or the Otters deck. Like it's all like I run into lots of different flavors of it. Actually, it's not all just lessons, but they are all flavors of Storm Chaser's Talent, Artist Talent, Blink my guy, ETB values, Blink another guy. Remove your spell for everything costs 1 or 2 mana. Like they have, it's like in the PT, we saw people with 4 lands getting 4 prowess triggers for multiple otters on turn 4, and it's just like this is legacy, right? That's what it feels like watching. It feels like watching Legacy from 10 years ago. The way people are just flying with 1 mana spells through things. So anyway, the World Championship was pretty cool. The meta was actually pretty cool, but oh my gosh, is it broken? Like, everyone was flipping out about Badger Mole Cub, and nothing.
You know what's crazy is it's Standard RCQ season again. 3 more months, no bans. They're priced in at this point.
Yes, Leo.
I purchased 4 copies of Artisan's Talent on like Tuesday before Worlds. To be clear, did not know about the Lessons deck. I bought them for Legacy.
Nice.
Immediately
Artist Talent
rewarded.
is so good. Those cards are insane. They're all insane, right? Yeah.
See, what you do is you play Artisan's Talent, right? And then you play a Lotus Petal.
And you loot away your Artist Talent.
You loot away your Echo of Aeons.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. And now you got
And you
the
just-
flashback.
You do that like 3 or 4 cycles. You play some LEDs. Every ritual also loots rummages a card, and you just eventually, find a Tendrils of Agony after drawing 7 a bunch of times and kill them.
Can you play Grand in this list?
No,
Not part of the plan.
no, we're playing Lion's Eye Diamond instead. like we're doing things a little bit more powerful than your grandma.
Grand puns took over.
Not your
the
grandma's
weekend.
Storm deck.
There were so many good Grand puns over the weekend, but I have to give Jesse Robkin credit for the best tweet of the weekend, in my
yes,
opinion.
I
JJ
saw
hopefully
that
can
one.
put this up on Titty Pills on Twitter. JJ can
Do
hopefully
we
put
get
this up.
demonetized for showing this this tweet?
JJ puts it up on screen, I hope.
I
But
think
for
it's
everyone
worth it.
listening,
I don't care.
I haven't seen this.
you can call me Andrew Cuomo the way I'm going to be killing Grands this weekend.
Never mind, I did see that. Holy shit.
Oh, it's incredible. I died. We'd already been deep in the Grand memes backstage, and then that came across my feed, and I just lost it.
That's a good tweet. God.
Yes, it was. Tweet of the... As I saw someone describe it, late contender for tweet of the year.
Yeah.
That said, to be clear, no one killed Grands. Grands dominated. Grand with lessons in your graveyard and accumulated knowledge is actual ancestral recall. Like, what are we doing?
One of my favorite things I heard someone say on the weekend was, they said, I want to know who at Wizards was responsible for the egregious second toughness on Grand. Like, out of context, someone said that. And it's like, really, her being a 1/2 is crazy. Like, it's not super relevant, but it is.
It is,
crazy.
though. It's kind of, because it doesn't die to fire magic.
Oh, you're so right, actually. Holy smokes.
I don't know if that's like, but it's not. I mean, it matters.
That's crazy.
Interesting. They made a limited archetype, and they just accidentally made, because if you look at, this is an interesting point, right? Because if you look at the spells in the Is It Lessons deck, none of them, except for exactly accumulated knowledge, are broken spells, right? They're all just sort of limited cards. Their removal, their draw, like they just sort of do basic things. But because they do them efficiently enough, and the fact that several of them are the red removal spells you have to play, it then allows you access to this engine of Grand accumulated knowledge, or Monument to Endurance if you go deeper, etc. So it's very interesting how they just missed on it, right? They didn't miss on like most of the cards power level wise, except for, I'd say, I guess, accumulated knowledge. But it's interesting how the totality of the mechanic has contributed to just instantly the best deck in standard, in a 3-year standard.
Yeah.
Channel Fireball broke it again, as it turns out.
Yeah, we were talking with somebody about this at Worlds, like how I think Channel Fireball, the team is very different now than it used to be, but they just have all the institutional knowledge still. Like, they're just better at testing than everybody else, and it really shows.
And they do still have a lot of... Yeah, you're right. The institutional knowledge is the best way to put it, because they don't have better spreadsheets than everybody else. They don't have better whatever. They just have better players. I don't...
So
or they just have better
this.
processes?
They have better processes, and also so many of the Magic Pro teams that I see, and again, I'm preaching from the gutters or whatever, like, I'm not pretending like I'm the greatest Magic player of all time, but so many of these teams are just 6 of the same guy.
You're right about that.
6 copies of the, I believe in data analytics, and I really want to focus on my technical stuff, and it's like, listen, Old Channel Fireball was super successful because they had a wide variety of Magic approaches. They have a player, whose name I will not say, whose whole thing was the first week of testing would just go play 50 different decks and come back and be like, these 45 are bad, these 5 we should talk about. And nowadays, everyone's just like, well, the data suggests that we should be playing Is It Otter, or Teamer Otters, which, to be clear, is where my team ended up, my friends ended up, is Teamer Otters. But you don't have somebody who's like, yeah, I'm going to go try and play with the all draft cards deck and see if that's broken.
There's not a Matt Nass on every team. There's CFT Sock, and that's why Sanctum's had a number. The There's so much, and we can go so deep on this topic, but it is difficult to level up in Magic as a player these days, in my opinion, in a way that it did not used to be, where there's a very defined line of this, then you go read this person on this website who will make you better. You'll read this every single week. You will internalize the processes about how they think about Magic, and you will find your own level ups along the way. Instead, there's just you in a spreadsheet, and it just makes it harder. And I saw there are a lot of discourse actually around CDH coaching, not to get into that rabbit hole, but this idea of like, how many people are paying for coaching who have not read Who's the Beatdown, who don't know what Who's the Beatdown is, right? Like, how many people, and not that that's the most important article ever, but just like how many people are doing things now that were actually solved problems 20 years ago. And because there's not that institutional knowledge when it comes to actually brewing up something or breaking a metagame in this way, Channel Fireball and someone like Sanctum, and I think in a way they take all of those perspectives that you're mentioning, have been able to do that the last few years.
Yeah. I wonder how many people have paid for coaching, been recommended an article, and then didn't read it. So many players are like, I regularly
articles
suggest
don't
friends,
have Subway Surfer casts.
Like multiple people I know who are, regional championship aspirants, people who are playing RCQs, who want to be on the Pro Tour someday. I have been like, here's what I think are the 4 most foundational Magic articles to become a better player. And years later, 4 recommendations later, they still haven't picked up a single one of them. Like, I think for me, the most important theory article I've ever read is it's you can only find it on the Wayback Machine now. It's from some blog called Illiteracy Has Its Downsides, and the article's titled How I Spent 100 Hours Getting Worse at StarCraft 2.
I've recommended that to so many people.
It is one of the best game theory articles I've ever read.
God, people get so mad when you tell them that is what is the word? That is an A/B test to determine whether someone wants to be good at games.
Yeah. I also think that like being able to gain more than what the article is an important part of being someone who reads critically and can grow as a person. Like, I think The Dark Art of Dredge Fu is a really important article, despite being about Legacy Dredge before the card Faithless Looting was printed. Like, in the article, he's like, Lions and Diamonds really not worth it in the deck because it's too all-in. You don't really have any payoff for discarding your hand for 3 mana.
Yeah.
Faithless Looting wouldn't be printed for another, 9 or 10 months or something. And, that article is really important because it's about playing linear decks, meaning it, not sideboarding scared. Right? You can get more from the article than just the sideboard guide, but, it's like Jerry T said, hey guys, there are words between the deck lists. I don't know if you've ever read them.
Yep. That was fun. I didn't know that tangent was coming, but obviously we have similar thoughts.
I got
on
process opinions.
I mean, yes. Well, and it shows up. Like CFB broke it with lessons. They obviously weren't the only people, and other people knew lessons existed, etc. But they did it. They committed to it, just like they did with Rakdos Vampires at the PT that Reed Duke won a couple years ago, right? Just like they did with Insert X Deck going back 20 years, right? They just consistently are able to do so. And like you said, a lot of the roster looks different. Yeah, but a lot of it looks the same too. And they just had another just dominant year. Almost quietly, it feels like, right? When there's not a giant name necessarily at the top, not, offense to anybody. If Luis isn't sort of leading the charge, right? It's less visible.
Someone loud in public.
Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of loud and public, that's us right now. And it's time for Pick of the Week.
Pick of the week, pick of the week, pick of the week. Time for the pick of the week.
God, these transitions
just
are
because
fire.
of that, I'm gonna do mine really quietly. Just because you said that we're loud in public, this is a private, quiet pick of the week for all our listeners out there.
Only picks.
It's gonna be Academy Manufacturer from any of the Commander sets.
It's actually Manufactor.
True. That is true.
It's actually Manufactor, guys. I'm just learning this now. Getting this data real time.
We're growing and learning as people.
Holiday season coming up. Lots of treasures and food on the table, and you can clue yourself into some of those treasures and food with Academy Manufactor. Tour, which is roughly $5 right now. It's been surprisingly a couple years since this card got reprinted. It was in Modern Horizons 2, and then they had a whole glut of reprints immediately after printing it. There was like Outlaws of Thunder Junction, it was Murders in Karloff Manor, it was March of the Machine Commander, it was a couple Secret Lairs, it was in the list, but it's guys, it's not 2023 anymore. It is almost 2026. Academy Manufacturer, if it's not reprinted again, will be $10 next year. This is NPR.
That is a fabulous pick of the week, DJ. I am Ira Glass, here with my pick of the week. My pick of the week this week is Argothian Enchantress, originally from Urza's Saga, reprinted in Eternal Masters. It currently has a negative buy list spread, which means that Card Kingdom is paying more for it than TCG Low. This card hasn't been reprinted since Eternal Masters again, which I believe was 2016. We are closing in on a decade of no Argothian Enchantress, and this is, still to this day, the best Enchantress effect in Magic the Gathering. If you find yourself wondering, should I put an Argothian Enchantress in my commander deck that's based around enchantments? You're gonna say yes. Buy these. Buy them now. Buy them often. Buy them early. This has been NPR. Off to you, Corbin.
Buy Ulamogs.
I'm gonna kill you, Corbin.
I suggest buying Ulamog, the Defiler for Modern Horizons 3. I'm shooting my shot a little bit this week. It's up from $16 to $18 in the past month. It basically just seems like it's bottoming out from where it's come down since printing. So if you're somebody who thought you might want this, be aware that your Ulamog, the Defilers are under $20, and sometimes Eldrazi just become $30 or $40 when things happen, and maybe not, but maybe you've had your eye on it. So either way, the graph is bottomed out and is starting to tick back up on Ulamog the Defiler.
Sure.
We got to give everybody a little bit of something. You know, some people want the NPR, some people want the shoutcasting.
The real sicko mode would be to alternate each word.
Hey guys, this is Brainstorm Brewery here.
That's the Jason. Speaking of, by the way, for everyone who goes to patreon.com/BSB and supports this podcast, we very much appreciate you. Those of you who are at the tier where you have access to After Hours, by the way, we will be recording After Hours with Jason for our holiday special, as we do. I'm not going to say every year, but if this is year 12 or 13 of the podcast, we're probably like 60-70% of holiday specials. So we're going to be working with the Discord.
It's a seasonal exclusive.
Yeah. We're going to be working with the Discord, choosing some kind of holiday movie or something we can all watch that we've done in the past. That's always fun. We get to all bullshit about a movie while hanging out, having some drinks. It is a good time. So patreon.com/BSB. All of you make this show possible. We very much appreciate all of you. So that's what we have going up. I think our plan over the holidays here is to keep episodes coming every week. We know that over the holidays, people really appreciate having content sometimes when you're stuck with the family. So we're going to do our best.
Put us on in the living room. Just
there you go.
Drown out your political debates with Magic, finance, and discussion about takesies, backsies. Yeah, just segue in like takesies, backsies at the World Summit. Like, damn, he really. Oh, you know what? Like, I heard Seth Manfield did a thing, and like just.
Well, yeah. Look, people are gonna. Your family's gonna be playing games. Inevitably, someone's gonna cheat at Rummy Q or whatever by taking their finger off it and taking it back. And then you know what this reminds me of? This incident at the World Championship. I heard some really enlightened discourse on this. Let me share it with you. And then you put Brainstorm Brewery up on your TV.
Hey Alexa, play Brainstorm Brewery. Hey Siri, play Brainstorm Brewery.
I wonder if that works. Oh, good job, DJ. Good thinking. I wonder if that works. I hope it does. Hey Google, play Brainstorm Brewery.
Yep, that's the third one.
Yep. All right. Well, everybody, thank you so much for listening to It's Brainstorm Brewery. If you haven't heard it yet, your Siri, your Google, your Alexa, they all know. So ask them if you forget. But thank you for listening to Brainstorm Brewery. We'll see you next week.